Okay, so median. So we have a set of integers from 1 to 120, right? Which would be like 1, 2, 3, all the way to 120. When that's what they say when they say inclusive. Inclusive means if I would list all these numbers out. I'm obviously not going to do that because that'd be too time consuming. What's the median of the set? The median of the set is going to be so we want to know, so if I have numbers 1 through 20, this is going to be, remember, this is going to be an even number. So I'm definitely going to want to end up taking, so this is an even number of terms. And when we have an even number of terms, we're going to average the middle two, right? So be really careful, right? And I mean, if you have to, so let's say you're compelled to pick like 60 for this or like 61, right? You can, let's say, so in numbers from 1 through 20, you could actually, let's say you had, so this would be 1 through an even number, right? 120 being even. You can, if you're confused as to whether or not that's going to be an even number of numbers or not, why don't you try it with a smaller set of numbers? If I have 4 numbers, let's say I had, 1 to 4 inclusive, right? You can make these much smaller sets so you can wrap your head around actually what's happening with these without having to think of it in terms of the whole 1 through 20. If I had 1 through 4 inclusive, I'd have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? So I would end up having an even number of terms, and I would end up averaging these middle two, right? So clearly, for this, you should be able to cross off, obviously that it's not going to be 60, and it's not going to be 61, and it's going to end up being 60.5, which is going to be right in between 60 and 61. So literally test out a smaller subset of numbers and with similar constraints as you would for this 1 to 1 through 20, and you should be able to get a feel for what it's actually going to look like, right? We obviously can determine it because we know how many numbers there are, right? I mean, we're just not going to write out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all the way up through 1 through 20. Another way to think about this too is to say that the middle number is going to be the average of your first and your last terms. 120 plus 1 over 2 is going to also tell you that it equals 60.5. So answer choice B.